So, ladies and gentlemen, one does not just simply walk into a conversation casually about Vaush. You have to prepare for it in the same way that you would prepare for cleaning out a septic tank. And like a septic tank, when it's filled to the brim and you begin to clean it, you're going to find that on the edges there's more and more scuzz, there's more and more filth. And by the bottom, you're going to find a surprise that you never wanted. And that's the same thing with Vaush. When you get to the end of that craterous pile of stink, what's waiting for you? A guy that vehemently and numerously defends CP and adult underage content. Talks enthusiastically and emphatically about horsecock. Somebody that engages in these so-called thought experiments that are the most deranged, demented, degenerate, and just filthy commentary anyone's ever seen. And Vaush put out a nearly 2-hour video trying to obfuscate and avoid responsibility. He put out a full-length motion picture instead of just doing what he should have done, which was taking responsibility. Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you guys saw this. I'm going to take accountability. This is wrong. I was into some pretty sick stuff. I'm going to seek help professionally. I'm going to show documentation of my help, and I'm going to get off the internet. I'm going to step away from electronics. I'm going to step away from all this because clearly there's something deeply, deeply wrong with me. This is indefensible. It's evil. I'm glad this was an awakening moment for me. I'm going to turn my life around. I'm going to seek help. I'm going to get therapy. That's how we should have handled it. And then left the internet and never came back. Gotten the help he needs. Maybe had a family. Maybe got normal. Who knows? But at the end of the day, you look at the way he reacted and it was, I'm going to outsmart them. I'm going to make them realize how right I am by using big words and trying to string them together in a way that will confuse them. There is no confusion here, Vaush. There is no misconception. You're not a victim here. You're a victimizer. You are a person that is so foul and so repulsive that you not only were engaging in this content, but you were going on moral crusades. You were making huge statements about other people who may have engaged in this content as well. Oh, those people are Nazis. Isn't any wonder that the Nazis are into lolly content? You got to stop and look in a mirror and realize why you're looking at this. You can find the clips of Vaush all over the internet. They are infamous at this point, and they are numerous of him saying things and doing things and advocating for things that he did not practice himself. But more than that, they are disgusting and immoral and wrong. And it seems to be that there's a correlation here between being on the left, being a Democrat, and embracing the most degenerate filth humanity has to offer. There are people on the right who engage in stuff where I'm like, that's gross, that's weird. But overwhelmingly on the right, at the very least, it's condemned. It's rejected. It's not normalized. It's not considered to be, oh, well, that's just part of the, that's just part of the discourse. Or, oops, it's just a streamer moment. Even the dumbest streamers that are clout whores, like Logan Paul, or was it Jake Paul? I don't know. One of the Paul brothers going into the suicide forest and being like, oh, cuz that's a dead body. And then reacting like he's going to do like some video where he's going to poke the body and they're going to have some kind of contest about who can hit the body hard enough until it pops. Like, these people are stupid, but even they have a line. Even they have a goddamn line. Logan Paul or whatever, Jake Paul, I think it's Logan Paul. Logan Paul is happy to steal from kids with CryptoZoo. He's happy to steal from people. He's happy to take their money. He's happy to commit, crypto fraud. Whatever. That's fine. But at the very least, I've never heard Logan Paul advocate for adult children's content. And I'll give credit to Moist Critical. I will give huge credit to Moist Critical. Moist Critical is probably one of the most ardent advocates against child exploitation, sexually and otherwise. I very much appreciate that about him. I may have disagreements about his politics. I may have disagreements about certain ways that he conducts himself. But at the end of the day, I very much appreciate the fact that he is a huge, huge advocate against this type of stuff. To the point where he was willing to go toe-to-toe with Sneeko to defend this. And I think that is absolutely amazing. I think that's incredible. Now, I will say this. I have noticed that Moist Critical hasn't talked about this. He hasn't covered this topic. And I would say that's his prerogative as a content creator. I choose what I want to talk about. But I think it's interesting looking across the board, not just at one person, that very often in situations like these, there seems to be almost a radio silence from the biggest content creators. Or if they do cover it, it's in a very interesting way. It's more like for themselves and their clout to virtue signal, rather than to take the opportunity to call out Vaush and what he's doing, and to condemn his far left views and his demeanor and the way that his fans conduct themselves. I mean, pretty much the man and his audience are all a bunch of commie pedos. It's just, I don't understand how there can't be just widespread condemnation from the biggest content creators. No, don't get me wrong. Asmongold called them out. Nuxtaku called them out. Pippa called them out. In fact, there's a clip I want to show you. So I'm not saying that it hasn't existed, but it doesn't feel like it's as widespread as I feel that it should be. Because what this guy revealed, Mudahar did a video, honorable mention, Mudahar did a video, that his video talking about that was funny because it's sort of like disbelief. And Mudahar, I don't know you, but I gotta tell you, if you're shocked by anything that you find from Vaush, Vaush is still amateur league compared to Keffels. So prepare your heart, prepare your mind, prepare your soul, because that's a swimming pool septic tank. That's a whole other animal once you start getting down into that rabbit hole. But anyway, how's that for a jump scare? Asmongold has a video called Far Leftist YouTuber Attacks Asmongold. And there's oh God, this face. I tell you what, the editor deserves a raise. There's no question about that. The editor of Asmongold's channel is just the best. Asmongold has like the Wendy's social media manager of content creators. But anyway, this video has a couple different clips that I want to share with you and show you about this particular topic so that you can get a better understanding of exactly what we're mentioning. And I think we're far enough into the video that YouTube's not just going to immediately demonetize it. Because if I put it at the beginning of the video, YouTube has an issue with that. So let's play this. Let's listen to this, and then I'll give you my take.
Tunnel out for this one, boys. Coming from the guy that said he hasn't heard a moral or legal reason why having CP should be illegal?
In fact, and this is going to be a real hot take, I have yet to hear a convincing moral or legal argument as to why possession of child pornography should be illegal. Actual child pornography.
I believe that the property rights of the wealthy should not be respected. I feel that their assets should be seized from them and that many of them should be executed for crimes against the workers of this country.
Isn't this the guy that people leaked that he's obsessed with horse cocks? Pippa responds to Vaush calling her a Nazi.
Did you hear about what Vaush said about you? Yeah, I think he said I'm a Nazi. That's interesting. He thinks everyone's a Nazi. That is true. I'm not really concerned if a horse fucker thinks I'm a Nazi, though. I don't really, I don't take life advice from people who are fixated on horsecock.
Oh, based Pippa. That is the best. He called me a Nazi. I don't really care though, because I don't really concern myself with the opinions of horsefucker. That's fantastic. So, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that people aren't covering this, but it doesn't feel like it's widespread enough. And I understand he's irrelevant at this point. But when somebody comes out with something like this, I think that I really think that it should be a bigger deal than it is. And lastly, what I want to say is something that I touched on in the video, but I really want to end with this. This is something that I genuinely feel. I know that people will accuse me of clout chasing and stuff like that. But I feel that a lot of times, content creators are constantly looking for catharsis. They have a moment in their life, or they have a series of moments in their life that they don't feel very good about themselves. And, I mentioned Moist Critical with the, with the dildos and stuff. That's, he can do what he wants, but that's disgusting and weird. Having a collection of dildos is not something that a normal, sane person would do. There's no need to do that unless you're trying to be edgy or interesting, or try to fill a void. Like, you're not interesting enough unless you have like this shock content. You have to play on a kid's bike and throw dildos at like water balloons or something, because you don't really have an identity, or you don't really have the ability to be interesting on your own. Like, for example, Joe Rogan doesn't need to sit there and do anything with dildos, or do anything with just filth, or mention cum all the time to be edgy or interesting. He just has conversations, and he's so charismatic and he's so fascinating, people are just drawn to him. Same thing with Alex Jones. Alex Jones is a fucking weirdo. But Alex Jones doesn't need to put like a giant dildo on his head. He puts like a tinfoil hat. He takes off his shirt. He goes crazy and stuff. And that's all funny and good fun. But I just feel like a lot of these content creators, they feel like they need something else. And to be honest, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that if they're just free to be themselves, I think that more often than not, they'll be in a better position. Because I think that more often than not, they're just looking for that catharsis. Like I mentioned, Moist Critical. His reaction to my video, it tells me what I need to know about him and what his interest is. Because very clearly he could have contacted me. He could have asked me to clarify things. He could have done any number of things. Like, hey, look, I saw this video. Would you mind clarifying? I'm on Twitter. I mean, I have links to my social media and my YouTube. He could have. But again, he wasn't interested in that. He wanted to paint me as a terrible villain, a bad guy. He didn't really want to understand my point of view. He just wanted to insult me and feel better about himself. And his audience loves that, because from what I've seen, I've gotten hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments from them over the past week. And they're all looking to feel something, like they're better than other people, and they're just not. And Vaush does this on a grander scale, to be sure, because I think that, Moist Critical is nowhere near Vaush. What I'm saying is that I've noticed this, that a lot of times that these people that are into this stuff that's just weird, I'm not even talking about like CP or horse stuff, but people that have gone on to the degenerate route, that there's something within them where they feel this call to try to make people seem worse, to fill something within them. Like Hassan is a good example of this. He does this all the time. And he's genuinely one of the worst people on the internet. I still cannot believe, like, one of the great wonders, like, I could never be a streamer. I could never be a streamer because I would never fit in with that group, because the whole thing about the whole streamer group is you have to kind of, get along with people. You kind of have to, play nice. I would never. I would never. I would be kicked out day one, because the moment that I ever had to do anything with Hassan, I'd be like, Hassan, I have a very important question. How many generations of inbreeding did it take to make somebody as stupid and nasty and toxic and angry as you? I'm genuinely curious. How many generations of inbreeding did it take to create a specimen like you? So I wouldn't last very long. I'd be kicked out day one. But my point is, It just seems like that's an ongoing thing. And so you should put that in your quiver. And when somebody is so desperate to virtue signal the way Vaush is, you should think twice and go, why are they so desperate to villainize other people? Why are they so desperate to say this person's racist, or this person is, this or that, or, this person, you shouldn't listen to them because they're this or that. I find that there is a correlation between them having something deeply wrong and them needing the validation by making somebody else worse. Anyway, that's my video about Vaush and his 2-hour video and all the other stuff that we talked about. Boy, oh boy. I'm ready to move on and never bring up this topic again, because, ladies and gentlemen, this is a heavy topic. I don't like delving into this stuff. This is gross. We have other things to talk about, but I did want to mention it because I don't shy away from stuff like this, but I just don't enjoy it. It's terrible. Anyway, hopefully Vaush gets canceled from the Earth. We send him into orbit, the first monkey. Well, the first human-monkey hybrid into space, and Vaush can go, settle on Mars or Uranus. Apparently he liked that. Anyway, that'll do it, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you watching, and see you next time.